Sorry guys, got disconnected again. Just have to kind of bear with me on this. So this is what the lumber looks like upstairs. It's really chewed up and just, this whole window is crooked. This wood is completely twisting out. You can really see it up here. It's this whole entire section, all three of these beams are twisted out. And this was covered up by a shim. And that piece of wood just looks absolutely terrible. So you can really see the gap here. All this is starting to pull away from here. Let's see if I can get a better shot of that. So that's just completely separating apart. There you can really see how crooked this that piece of wood is. See how far over it's pushed from center? No problem, we'll just leave it. Nobody will see it, right? We'll just drywall right over it. Again, tight. Insulation shoved in between a huge gap. We won't fix it. Don't worry, nobody will see it. We just cover it up. This wall was all bowed out. Now we know why, because there's studs that are still sticking out. And just check out the condition of this wood. Just ask yourself, if I bought this house, would I be happy? Is this the level that I would expect from a Pardee award-winning home? Would I ever expect in a million years for my home to look like this? And the answer is hell no. Of course not. We would have never bought this home had we known the condition of it. See how crooked that is? I mean, it's just absolutely careless. It's blatant negligence. And it's more than that, because they covered it up and they knew about it. And we can tell that they knew about it. Tight, up, gap, big huge gap. And a really gnarled brace or bracket, whatever is attached to that is obviously taking some kind of stress or pressure, and it's peeling off. Now look, same thing here. Really, really tight. It almost looks like this wall is pulling away. Big gap, big huge gap. I mean, come on. This is absolutely ridiculous. Here they did a real good job of putting foam insulation, but it doesn't make any difference putting foam insulation when there's a freaking hole here that you do nothing about. We'll just leave that right there, right? We'll just insulate everything else. Nobody will see it. It's gonna be behind the drywall. They'll never see it. It doesn't matter. Look at the condition of this wood. It looks like they literally just let beavers loose in this house, just let them chew the shit out of the wood. No problem. We don't have to worry about this, right? That, I'm not sure if you guys can see, that's crooked. This over here, this wood's sticking out over this. Sticking out that much. Now look at this over here. Look at this piece of wood. Why would you use this? Why? It's shattered. All the way down. Look at that. Just completely shattered. Is this what you would expect to see in your home? I definitely didn't expect this. Just look at how gnarled up this wood is. This is a 1-year-old house. This is what I would expect to see, maybe, I don't know, like a 20-year-old house. This apparently is acceptable to the contractors board. They said there's no workmanship issue here, even after they walked through and said that there was tons of issues, that they didn't understand why it passed city inspection. They called back 25 minutes later without ever looking at the photos, because they told us they were still downloading. They said that the contractors board had made a decision. Well, if it's only been 25 minutes since you left my house, that means you teleported yourself back to the board to get their decision, and they never looked at anything, right? So there's mold on this beam. It's all chewed up. I mean, you could see how crooked everything is. Whoever did this house knew there was a problem. They replaced that beam already. And they covered it up. They knew that the wood had dried out and that shifting had occurred. Nobody said anything. Look at that. That beam might not be important, especially if it's split in half, so why even leave it there? Again, tight together, big gap. Big gap right there. This is our master. That's what that looks like. Now look at this area over here. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. It's about at least a couple hundred nails right there, penetrating the moisture barrier around the wall and just completely penetrating the tar paper. No big deal. Just hundreds of them. We'll just leave them there, no problem. Same thing over here. Nails sticking through that moisture barrier all the way down. And actually they're sticking out everywhere. There's thousands of these shiners everywhere, all over the entire house. Now let's go take a look at my daughter's rooms. Now you guys might be able to see this a little bit better. I'm not sure what it's called, but it essentially attaches these two things to each other. It's not even touching. There's a big gap right here. Yeah, big gap right there. This area, obviously, the entire bathroom has been shimmed because everything was super crooked. Another shattered piece of wood. Just completely torn apart. More shiners in that paper. Tons of shiners in the window paper all the way around on the top. And now look at this. This is the wall of death. This is in my kid's room. I don't know what they were trying to nail into. I'm assuming it had to have been the stud. But apparently they missed, and they missed, and they missed again, and they missed and missed and missed, missed some more, and they missed even worse on this one. Look at that beam back there. Up, missed the beam just a little bit. I'm hoping there's other additional nails in there, but I really don't have any faith at this point that they are there. Shiners all over that. And just look at the condition of the wood. It's just absolutely terrible. I hear Brandon saying that Westcorp did yours too, and you got a ton of issues. Yeah, there's a problem going on, huh? And the contractors board doesn't care. Just so you guys know, the contractors board literally called us back a half an hour later after walking this property for an hour and a half, after commenting on how they could not believe that this passed city inspections. They said that that they can't stand up to the city because they can't penalize the city, and they basically wanted nothing to do with it. See how gnarled that wood is right there? That beam's not touching. There's nail pops all through that moisture paper. So really, guys, I could go on and on and on about this all day. And there's a lot more stuff I could show you. I could show you the exterior of the house, which I put a 6-foot level on it today, standing on a ladder. And it's even worse. It's like 3 inches off. So even if you split that in half, it's still 1.5 inches out of plumb, the top level from the bottom level. So we don't know how they're going to fix this at this point. There's 2 structural engineers that are involved. The contractors board was involved until they decided that apparently this is acceptable workmanship, and they shut the case down a half an hour later. There's obviously some kind of problem going on, because they told us that there was hundreds of problems in this house, and they didn't know how it passed city inspection. But then they closed the case a half an hour later. So just wanted to show everybody what we got and what we're dealing with. Because from the outside of this house, you would think that this house is perfect. You would never in a million years think that this was the condition of this home. So guys, buyers beware.